Hi Sagittarius, this is your February 2016 astrology horoscope with me, Lada from astrolada.com, for anyone who has their ascendant, sun or moon in Sagittarius. And as I promised the previous month, in February I'm going to talk a lot about Mars and its stay in Scorpio and in Sagittarius. Mars usually takes 2 months to transit through a sign, but this time it will spend a much longer time, about 6-7 months, in both Scorpio and Sagittarius. So you will directly be impacted by that. And I want to explain to you how the process will very likely go for you Scorpios. And especially, Sagittarius. And especially Sagittarius who are born in the first 10 days of Sagittarius, basically the November born Sagittarius, and those that are born from 0 till 10 degrees sun, moon or ascendant, basically moon or ascendant from 0 to 10 degrees in Sagittarius, they'll definitely feel this Mars prolonged stay in your sign in Sagittarius. But let's first start, and this whole process starts from February and continues till the end of August, actually till the end of September, when Mars goes out of your sign Sagittarius. And first Mars will be in your 12th house, so there will be intensified focus in your 12th house, and it starts in February, then comes back again in June and July, and so it's kind of it starts February, part of March, then June and July, and the rest of the time Mars is in your first house. But let's first start to see what does it mean to have Mars in the 12th house, transiting Mars in the 12th house, prolonged stay in your 12th house. Well, Mars energizes whatever house it transits through. So in the 12th house for Sagittarius indicates sleep. For everyone is the 12th house is sleep. Sleep, the time, the sanctuary where you are in private and very private activities like bed pleasures, you know, like the intimacy as well. 12th house is one of the houses of sex in astrology and how sexually satisfied you are. And Mars there will energize that area of your horoscope, so it can actually infuse a healthier sex life between you and your partner while Mars is in the 12th house. Help you sort out any problems that exist, so it can unleash more satisfying sexual interaction with your partner, bed pleasures, private bed pleasures with your partner in the sanctuary through your own initiative as well. But Mars is not discriminative, so you might even feel tempted to go and look out for such private bed pleasures, which are, you know, secret ones, like no-tell motel type of things. So there is a stronger inclination for hidden, because 12th house is hidden, for bed pleasures and to improve your sex life through kind of more subversive ways. That's just one of its energy. That's one of its manifestations, because Mars is one's actions and sexuality, and 12th house is hidden. 12th house naturally rules the enemies of marriage, because 12th house is the 6th from the 7th. The 7th is your marriage partner or official partner, and the 6th from the 7th, 6 always indicates enemies, falls in the 12th house. So basically falls for Sagittarius, it's in the sign of Scorpio, where Mars will be. So there might be a more intensified pursuit of such enemies of the marital relationship. And I'm not saying like, oh, your Sagittarius is going to go and cheat, but if you already have indications that you can have extra affair on the side, this can stimulate it. But you need to have this indication in the birth horoscope. But I want to mention all the possible manifestations of Mars transiting the 12th house and then the first house, so you know what kind of to expect. 12th house is also any places, foreign place, sleeping, because 12th house is, you know, this invisible world, this private world of ours, and sleeping might be overly stimulated, so the person might find themselves, if you're Sagittarius, not being able to sleep very well at night, or becoming a bit of a night owl, getting most active, which is Mars, when everyone else is sleeping, when you're supposed to be departing to the astral world through sleep, or your dreams might become overly kind of unexpressed anger can surface through your dreams. Expect this from now, from February going on to the end, to August approximately, that it's possible, like more violent dreams or downright sexual dreams while you're sleeping, or in the extreme case, even hidden private affairs at the back, or sexualized fantasies privately. But if you're not inclined towards such, you can just improve your bed pleasures with your traditional, common partner, with your official partner, by becoming more, how do I say, basically becoming, because 12th house is the house of fantasy again, so fantasies combined with hormones, which is Mars, and sexuality, so your sexual fantasies increase, and that can improve your sex life, can make it healthy in a sense, unless you have indications for extramarital relationships that can give that there, some hidden advances. And Mars, 12th house is, so also, because 12th house is when we rest, Mars makes you overly active when you're supposed to rest, so that can be another psychological result. But it can be extremely good to actively engage over the next 6-7 months, and you can notice it with understanding yourself psychologically. Because 12th house is one of the houses of digging under the surface, because it's our subconscious, our even past life memories, and to dig them out, maybe working with a psychologist, maybe working with psychiatrist or counselor or therapist, past life regressionist, and especially because Scorpio, 12th house, rules buried trauma, and 12th house is past lifetimes, and it might be something that consciously is creating fears or blockages in your success in life, and Mars now in your 12th house can help you dig out where the roots of that problem come psychologically, because they're the roots of something that's blocking you, or even traumatic, which is Scorpio. And the thing that will transform you the most as a Scorpio, always, as a Sagittarius, the thing that transforms anyone the most is where Scorpio is in one's horoscope. And for Sagittarius, Scorpio falls in your 12th house. So what can transform you the most psychologically and help you move away from trauma, from being blocked, and heal psychologically, be a psychologically healthy person, is 12th house activities, which is basically resolving traumas from the past, especially from the past lifetimes or such, which are forgotten from consciousness. Also, 12th house activities is exploring with counselor, with advisor in some way. And you can be actually quite active in regards to pursuing spiritual activities. But they shouldn't be too peaceful, because Mars will not allow you to do that. Mars will spur you into research, maybe spiritual information about the astral worlds, the invisible worlds, life after death, such kind of esoteric matters. Or if you do something physical, it has to be yoga, kundalini, because 12th house is, Mars requires something physical, very active engagement and dynamism, but 12th house is a bit more spiritual, it's not so physical as a house. So in certain points you find yourself that you're drawn to such maybe more healing energy and body healing, activities to get engaged in. And 12th house is also people that work, Sagittarius, that work in 12th house places. For example, in hospitals, in libraries, in spas, in sanctuaries, in some kind of a separated environment. Maybe they work far away in a different country, because 12th house rules faraway places. They'll find themselves much more active, much more dynamism happening at their work. People that are psychologists as well, and your Sagittarius, Mars in their 12th house will trigger a lot of dynamism in their 12th house career. So people that are working with some kind of imagination, whether they're creating computer games or fashion, because 12th house rules the imaginative world as well, together with the 5th. And so anyone that uses imagination in some way will feel energized, if you're Sagittarius, over the next few months till August fully, and even to the point where your imagination is overactive, not letting you sleep. And everyone who is in any kind of retreated, in careers that are more retreated, either in a laboratory, research center, hospital, where it's like a little society separated from the rest, or dormitories, or working on an island somewhere, they can find themselves very hectically involved with those careers, having to overcome challenges there, but also being able to push forward some innovations and changes that make this environment more dynamic, more happening, more proactive, and you'll be proactive in such things. And you can be also proactive in helping others, because 12th house is the house of charity. And Mars can require you to expend energy and mobilize your energy and resources to give on others. If you're naturally charitable, you'd feel just like maybe going helping someone you care about, underdog, or someone who has a problem, to physically help them, maybe help them fix something, or maybe help them move flats, you know. So giving away of your energy, because 12th house is the house of charity, giving away without expectation to receive. Or if you're not naturally charitable, the universe can force you to do that, in the sense like, oh, I really don't want to help this person, but I have to. I really don't want to do this. It's not going to bring me back any returns, but I have to do it. So almost like when you don't naturally give charity, you have your time that the universe will push you to do it. Physically get involved. Mobilize your resources day off. You know, that's one way it can manifest. Another way it can manifest. It can be a few of those things that happen actually. And remember, it's not going to be fully on all the time for you, Sagittarius, because then Mars goes into your first house, so you become, the energy shifts a lot more in a different way, but then it goes back. So they'll be going in and out of those moods and behaviors. And 12th house is working behind the scenes, maybe preparing something. And you're starting already from February, preparing the preparatory grounds and actions for something that you start putting properly into manifestations when Mars enters Sagittarius from around March onwards. Basically now in February is a good time to research better such things, to look, because while Mars is in the 12th house, it's not good to start something totally new if you want to manifest on the material, physical level. Say a new project or a new endeavor. Do it when Mars goes into Scorpio, because that's a rare opportunity. Mars goes into Scorpio in your sign, and in Sagittarius. Oh, Mars goes into Sagittarius in March, so March and April and part of May will be your months when you have the green light to go for it, to start new projects. Now February, prepare still for it. Research. It's actually when Mars is in the 12th house for the next few months, you know, especially February, then June, July. It's a very good time for doing any kind of research for you, Sagittarius. If you're in scientific research or school research or anything, you know, because 12th house, once Mars digs deep, especially Mars in Scorpio digs deep, and 12th house is the house of deep understanding, of almost intuitive grasping of a matter, so you can have some kind of discoveries if you're eureka moments, almost intuitive breakthroughs on something you've been working for a while, or some kind of a research that you're doing. But you might find yourself especially more emotionally reactive, because 12th house, our energy, our aggressive energy tends to get lost in the imagination or to be suppressed because it's an invisible house, or to work behind the scenes. So it can erupt at moments as suppressed anger to the surface. More reactive emotionally overall. But then Mars from in March and in April goes into your sign Sagittarius. So that would be an amazing time to start new beginnings. Amazing time to build up physical muscle, to build up your body physically. Amazing to develop willpower. When Mars is in the first house, physical willpower, ability to start new beginnings, ability to tackle difficult things, difficult problems, that because Mars is the problem solver, and when it's in your first house, the first house is you, your sign, Sagittarius. So from March, April, you'll be confronted with more complicated or mini crisis situations, or that you can transform through your own willpower, through your own actions, so you have the winning hand. Even when it gets stressful and you get frustrated, why is this happening? Don't worry, because at the end of this process, you'd have a much better grasp on everything through your own personal willpower and control. So you might feel more frustrated in March, in April, in May, while when Mars is in your sign Sagittarius, but also you're frustrated because you have more pent-up energy and you have to put it into action in something. If you're not putting it into action, you can feel stressed. or you can attract it as anger somehow. If you put it into doing something difficult, accomplishing some difficult task, in training, disciplining your body, developing your willpower, accomplishing some great goal that you didn't have the courage to do before, fantastic. Or winning something. There might be some competition that you're physically involved in, or some argument or some fight that you're going through with someone over the next, in the spring of 2016, if you're born in the North Hemisphere. And then Mars goes back into your 12th house again in June, July. So it's kind of, you retreat back. You stop being so combative for a few months. You retreat back to see how is the battle going, to strategize again, to research a little bit, to prepare again, and to win the final final push, which comes towards August, or part of July to August, September, fully 2018. And by the end of 16, and by the end of August 2016, you'd come out as a winner in some way. You'd come out with much more seasoned assertiveness, seasoned fighting spirit, seasoned willpower that you've created. So the overall long-term influences are fantastic. But I have to warn you, while Mars is in your 12th house, which is, it happens in May for a big part. Was it May? In June and July for a big part. It's a good idea not to get involved in acting behind someone's back, because Mars is a troublemaker. It can make us take risks, unnecessary risk, and 12th house is surreptitious activities. Because you might regret after that. Always, it's a spiritual law. If your card's on the table, it's always best. You don't create karma. If you don't want to be sharing something you're talking about, maybe you're preparing about a plan of action, while Mars is in your 12th house, then just don't lie, just don't share, But the worst case scenario you can do is like doing some damage behind the scene for someone, which is also, unfortunately, for some people, you might also attract some enemy that's working behind the scene, trying to undermine you, because Mars is kind of invasive energies that are not very, Mars naturally rules enemies, and 12th house is hidden. So someone trying to undermine your strength for the next, few months, not constantly. Again, I said Mars is not constantly in your 12th house, but you might feel it to find out later about it. But what's more important is that you don't do that on purpose, because there is karma, and sorry. And don't worry, Mars goes into your first house, so all those secret enemies or someone trying to undermine you will come to the surface. You'll see them, you'll face them, you'll win over them. You'd confront them. So you have to maneuver for a few months between acting more surreptitiously, stealth, research, observing, preparing, then going in for the kill, approaching things, getting things done, organize, Mars is the soldier, done, first house, get it, everything done, put the structure there. And then retrieving a little bit, observing how things happening, until you finally go back to the battlefield again and fully reconfirm your positions there as a winner. But during those months when Mars is in the 12th house, just be more aware of invisible agents that might be in some way undermining things there with their actions. I don't want to make you paranoid, actually, but that's one of the extreme manifestations. It can be the worst. It might be just like you can't sleep at night because your imagination is overactive. This can be somehow how it manifests, So, where was I? But at the same time, even if you have enemies, you will be able to win them. You'll be able to overcome them, to aggressively tackle such situations, So it's kind of very likely, especially because Mars goes into your sign, Sagittarius, that you win the final battle. But overall, you'll be having a strengthening of your positions when Mars is in March, in April, May, and then to the end of August. More willpower, more initiative, doing things that you were afraid of, starting new projects, strengthening yourself, physical workout, intermingled with periods of withdrawing a little bit, or even periods in more negative is when Mars goes back to the 12th house. It's like some of the efforts you've put start dissipating, or you feel like things get out of hand for a couple of months when Mars is in Scorpio again in March. In May, June and July, you might feel like, oh, because 12th house is things that are a little bit out of, we cannot control them. That's where the astro chaos is, a whirlpool of energy. So these are things that are a bit out of our control, so we might have to control, you might have to control, Sagittarius. Reconsider the game and the moves and then charge back again. So anyway, let's go back to February. February already you're starting to get a whiff, maybe, some of you, how things will develop, but it's much... February, it is positive, for most Sagittarius, because Mars is making only good aspects from this 12th house. It's like maybe you're starting to prepare the ground for your actions. And maybe it's even good to take it easy, to rest a little bit in February as well, before Mars goes into your first house, when you have to mobilize all your energy and to start new things. Saturn will be in Sagittarius of course, it's there for 2 more years. It's from around the 13th degree to around the 16th, 17th degree. So those of you who are Sagittarius with ascendant or moon from around 13 to around 17 degrees in Sagittarius, you are feeling Saturn transit very intensely. Saturn is transiting for the first time in 29 years, those degrees, Sagittarius. If your ascendant or moon is there, you can find out if you have your ascendant or moon in Sagittarius and then what degrees from my planetary detail table at the birth chart calculator, for which I'm putting a link here. Or if your sun is from those degrees from 13 till 17, it means that you're born on which day is that? Approximately from around the 5th to around the 9th of December, plus minus a day or two. And Saturn transit, you're going to feel it now. And Saturn is all about working hard. Saturn is all about maturing, getting serious, starting new beginnings. Again, we see. If all the other Sagittarius might wait a little bit till, Mars goes into Sagittarius, but those, if you have those days, those degrees that you're born, you already have to do it from, working very hard, being very conscientious, following step by step. Saturn can create some blockages and some quite negativity. Saturn is a planet of, slowing things down, making you prioritize what is the important things in your life. And Saturn will remove from you careers or relationships or situations which are not there for the long term, which are not productive for you for the long term. But you'll be probably trying to hold on to them and resisting, because that's the nature of Saturn. It resists, but at the same time it tries to cleanse from us the things that are no longer workable. And if something is really a big priority in your life, you'll work through that snag and obstacle. You'd work through it, whether you get more responsibilities at work, or more demanding boss, or your partner presses you more, or whatever it is. If it's a priority, this relationship or this career or this situation in your life, it's so important, you're going to work through that issue and you come out with even more strengthened positions of authority or connection and commitment. But if it's not really a priority, it will break. It will, the pressure that's applied to it through Saturn, it just is not going to stand the test of time. And over the next February up till next November 2016, there will be a fall apart of this, and you can start seeing the breaking and the faults in something which is, or what is going to be tested from now already. But it will entail also you taking extra new responsibilities, Sagittarius. But that's just for those degrees, Sagittarius. Anyway, all other Sagittarius, Mars is in your 12th house for now. Psychologically, it means preparation, reconnaissance, research, maybe helping someone else, preparing for some big, psychological shift that will be happening. Also working with counselors, advisors can help now. Hidden actions, as I said, preparatory actions. Venus and Mercury will be in your 3rd house from the 2nd part of February. So communications will increase, the flow of information, contacts with people will increase. There will be some nice, pleasant communications with others. So you get more socially active in February, because there is a strong activation of this third house for you. Socially active, the flow of information, people calling, or administrative or mental and verbal tasks that you have to accomplish, they will increase. So if you're in an administrative job, in white-collar job, it's kind of, and jobs that require teamwork, writing, speaking, communicating, exchanging of information, commercial transactions, they get stimulated in a positive, shortly, but in a positive way in February. And any such careers that you have, they'll tend to flourish better and develop better. Communications with neighbors, with teammates, with friends as well can improve, can be more stimulating. You get more short-term travel here and there can increase for you as well, Sagittarius, with this activation of third house. So that's overall. February still, February still is quite peaceful, and then the real changes, which Mars requires, start happening as the year progresses. But I try to give you an overview so you're prepared. Hope you enjoyed that. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next month when I'll talk more in depth about Mars in Sagittarius.